These are the best mid lane champions to climb low elo with. First off, we will start with Malzahar. Surprise, surprise, the champion that only basically has point and clicks and has an ultimate that you can just point and click and silence someone for like the next 2 seconds. Well, this champion has great wave clear, it has great utility with his ult, it has good gank setup, it counters basically every assassin in the game, and it's just super easy to play. Malzahar also solves the problem that a lot of low elo players have, overcomplicating the game. Everything is just straightforward. And then we have Vex, which is also a very straightforward champion. You have great wave clear. When you hit ult, all you can do is click ult again. It's very straightforward, and it has a reset, which resets go a long way in lower elo. And Vex's passive actually punishes champions for dashing. Well, in lower elo, a lot of players dash without a plan and constantly get hit by Vex passive. Vex is also super good into Yasuo, anything that dashes pretty much, which basically a lot of low elo players play. So you're gonna load into the game, most likely having already a counter matchup. How OP is that? Then we have Lux, super long range, super annoying to deal with. Lower elo players don't know how to deal with range, especially if you're starting to lose somehow in lane as Lux. You can just sit under your turret and wave clear with your ult, with your E, and lower elo players lose their minds. To add on, you have really good wave clear, and your champion scales into the late game, which a lot of low elo games do go later on, so you'll be strong in all stages of the game. Galio is a bit different than the other champions in this list here. He's super simple to play, like all of them. However, he is a utility champion. He has a stun or a taunt on his W, knock up on his E, and he has good wave clear with his Q. On his ultimate, he has a roaming ability where you point and click on one of your teammates and you just fly down towards them. And this is very helpful because in lower elo, there's a lot of little skirmishes, fights away from you, and you can just ult and join in. And a lot of fights bot, top, jungle invades. Well, I'm not there. Well, I'm just gonna click ult. Not only that, you have great CC. Your damage does eventually get outscaled, but you scale because you have such good utility that you can provide to the team. Next, we have Ahri, and you know what? Let's make this left to right. So I'm going to put Ahri better than Malzahar. I think Ahri is the queen of lower elo. Not only is she super easy to play, she has mobility, she has CC, she has wave clear, she has flank ability, she has teamfight ability, she has 1v1 ability, like she is the complete champion, and super easy to play. Her ult not only gives her mobility and dashes, it also gives her a reset. So in lower elo, when someone gets picked out, which is extremely common, you have another ult charge where you can then use to kill more people. And all her cooldowns are low, even her ultimate ability. So even if nothing happens with your ult, you fuck up, you waste your ultimate, it will be back up in like 30-40 seconds, especially the later the game goes. And she scales well. She is all around, in my opinion, the perfect champion. Next, we have Veigar, and Veigar is also different from these champions up here. He is more of a scaling champion, but in lower elo, players do not punish bad laning phases. Champions like Kassadin, not as good as Veigar, is they don't get punished in lane, and they get to scale up and do massive amounts of damage later. Not only does Veigar scale, he has decent amount of wave clear, a lot of wave clear as the game goes on, and he has range, and he has a cage that is just super annoying and that no one knows how to deal with, and it's just great utility, great champion overall, doesn't get punished, has wave clear, can kill people. You just need to watch out about your positioning, which is why it's not higher in the tier list. And he just provides a lot of value. And I'm going to add a few champions that you should avoid playing in low elo at all costs. Not at all costs, because if you do enjoy playing these champions, that's better than actually trying to go for LP, depending on what you want in your League of Legends career. Starting off with Yasuo, he is very mechanically intensive. And he has very low range, and he struggles to end games, and it's very easy to get caught out and monkey brain into random fights and get caught and just make the game overall really hard for your team. And when you play champions like Yasuo, you're going to end up coin flipping basically the entire game and fighting basically in the entire game and just winning or losing without having much decision of your own. So I prefer you stay away from Yasuo. And another champ exactly like Yasuo, Irelia. They both don't scale too well. Yasuo actually in terms of stats scale well, but in terms of team comp, especially if he doesn't have a knockup, he gets outscaled like crazy. Irelia is a champ that gets outscaled just no matter what. And a lot of games go later on, and same reason as Yasuo, you just die too much. A lot of no-purpose gameplay where you just keep fighting because you think you can possibly win, which is true, but you shouldn't be taking every single fight that you could possibly win, right? And it's just a coin flip machine. Play it if you want to have fun. I would not recommend to climb. And we're going to go with a different approach. I'm going to even put this one worse. Azir. This champion is so hard to play. In my opinion, Azir is the hardest champion to learn in the mid lane, maybe in all of League of Legends. As a mid laner, knowing how to play all these champions here, Azir is by far the hardest, and I cannot imagine a lower elo Azir doing half the thing his kit provides, which is just way too much, way too overwhelming. Maybe start off with the lower easier champions, and then work your way up once you get more used to the game and more committed to the game. And I added 2 more champions here. Let's talk about it. Syndra. Syndra is overall a S tier champion in terms of mid lane in general. In the lower elos, she is much harder to play and really skill intensive compared to the champions in the S, A, and S plus tier here, which is why she can't go up there with me. And she does lack a bit of mobility as well compared to some of these champions. She's overall just much harder to play, which is why I don't put her at the S+, S, and A. And Zed, he is not there with me on the Syndra level, but he is above Yasuo and Irelia. Zed is a champion that is very structured. You know exactly what you want to do throughout the entire game. You want to farm from level 1 to 6, and then you could possibly look for an all-in at 6, and then you can play the side lane where you could look for picks. Whereas Yasuo Irelia, you kind of just fight whenever you want, and there's no clear structure like Zed. And Zed is a champion that scales very well into the late game, unlike the Yasuo and the Irelia. So even though it is skill intensive, I'm not going to put him all the way further down, but in a place where I'm not going to put him up as well either. I'm going to leave this here for now. I do believe if you master or one trick the champions in the S+, S, and A tier, you will climb way faster than if you were to one trick other champions. But if you do decide that you want to play League of Legends for the long term, I do recommend you play the champion that you have the most fun with. This is very important. If you're not playing the champion that you're not having fun with and you're just playing for LP, this is the fastest way you will be turned off by the game and that you would just want to quit. And eventually you're going to want to play the champions you enjoy, and all that progress that you put onto, for example, something like a Malzahar is gone. What you want to do is, okay, I want LP, but I also want to climb. Then maybe look for champions that kind of do both, like the Syndra or the Zed. But like I said, I really recommend you play what you enjoy. If you like Azir, play Azir and have fun and try to improve on Azir. Same thing goes with Yasuo. Same thing goes with Irelia. This way, you will stay here much longer. League of Legends is a marathon. You have to play this game for multiple years if you want a higher rank. It doesn't matter if you're one-tricking Ahri or Malzahar. If you're not putting time commitment and actively trying to improve, you will not get to the places or the ranks you want to go to. So play what you enjoy, and remember guys, this is a video game. You want to have fun. If you guys are interested in mid lane educational gameplay and educational videos, you're at the right place. Please drop me a subscribe, and thanks for watching.